Officer Darren Wilson from the Ferguson shooting resigns, but a lot of confusion and questions remain over the grand jury's decision to not indict Wilson in the shooting of Michael Brown. Joining us now is our political analyst, Michael Yaki, to talk about that and to break down all the developments that have happened. Let's start with the grand jury. It seems like the public is still kind of confused about its role, the process, and what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, it's interesting because I get into a lot of debates with people who talk about, well, the physical evidence said this or this witness said that. And that's true, but that's really not what the grand jury is supposed to do. That's a trial. What the grand jury does historically is to decide whether or not there's enough evidence to back up a prosecutor's decision to indict. So the prosecutor has to decide, well, these are the charges I want. This is the evidence I'm going to produce in order to do that. That's not what happened in this case. In this case, Bob McCulloch, who has been a very controversial figure in this entire episode, decided he was simply going to dump every single piece of evidence that there was to the grand jury, give them general instructions on what the charges could be in this case, and then let them make up their own mind. What's happened though, and he decided to say, well, I'm going to allow. Well, first of all, his press conference was a little bizarre. He goes on this rant about the media, blaming the media, saying that the media made witnesses lie and witnesses were lying to other people.
And that's what people have been saying. He seems biased.
Right. And then he goes in his press conference to sort of selectively pick out pieces of evidence that he thinks sustain what the grand jury decided to do. But then he decided, I'm going to be really smart. I'm going to release a grand jury transcripts for everyone to take a look at. That was a mistake, because when people started looking at the grand jury transcripts, they began to see a very, very different picture involved, where the prosecutors were essentially questioning only witnesses that appeared to be on one side and not questioning witnesses on another. And the most controversial thing of all was allowing Darren Wilson to speak pretty much uninterrupted for about 2 hours. And if there's one thing that grand juries do not do in America, they do not hear exculpatory testimony. You already know the person's going to say, I didn't do it. That's sort of a given. The prosecution's burden is to say, well, this is what I want to charge them because I think that they did do it. And so they selectively present witnesses. This didn't happen here. Instead, you just had every single witness under the sun, no prioritization, no cross-examination, no, were you a good eyewitness? They asked one eyewitness, for example, do you see good? Yeah. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean you don't need glasses? Does it mean you do need glasses? Does it mean the fact that the witness was 100 yards away made a difference? And this was a witness, by the way, one of the very few who said they saw Michael Brown allegedly charge Officer Wilson. So you have all these things that come out, and it raises more question than it answers, because in a trial, both sides will be able to pick their best witnesses, tear apart the other, and essentially weed out what is the best evidence available for a jury to make a decision. That didn't happen here, but it was sort of you throw it all up in the air, see what sticks, and see what the grand jury decides to do.
So you don't think the grand jury got the full picture then? Well,
they did not get an accurate picture. You can get a full picture, but an accurate picture involves cross-examination. It involves witnesses, involves expert witnesses coming in. People talk about, well, there was blood evidence inside the car. And I'm sure that there are 5,000 experts out there who can talk about if your hand's on the outside of the car and it gets shot, you may get blood spatter inside. I mean, those are the kinds of things you would get in a trial that you did not get the benefit of through this very, very loose, and that's a very kind way to put a grand jury process.
So do you think the chances of Officer Wilson facing any sort of charges is completely over?
Well, I think that there's one chance left for a criminal indictment. That would come from the federal government, and they would essentially have to make a decision that the moment that Michael Brown, they would have to say that there's evidence to sustain a charge that Michael Brown turned around, put his hands up, was more than 50, 60 feet away, and Officer Wilson decided to consciously take his life, deprive him of his civil rights. That's the only thing out there. Maybe Eric Holder, the Attorney General, who is very, very attached to this case, may do that as his last act in office. Other than that, I doubt it, though. Other than that, all they have is a wrongful death suit that they can bring based on a much looser and a lower evidentiary standard.
Okay, one last question. The officer Wilson resigning. What does that mean for the community and for the officer himself?
Well, I think that the community saw that as inevitable. I think that Officer Wilson saw that as inevitable in situations like this. This frequently does happen. But the structural problems of Ferguson still remain. The structural problems of race in St. Louis County still remain, and that's going to be a much longer battle.
Okay. Our political analyst, Michael Yaki, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are back with more after the break.